And for those of you that actually tuned in and saw the Chrono Trigger the musical video today, the bit in the video follows this part almost immediately. So Luca's going to walk up to the supercomputer here and punch buttons. We found a gate east of here. So we might be able to find a way home if we go east of here. In Protodome. What does this button do? The shiny can be like a button. 1999 AD. Visual record of the day of Lavos. That opening chord. Ooh. That opening chord when Lavos pops its body up out of that hole, it still actually manages to give me chills. It still manages to actually affect me after all this time. A very angry hedgehog. If only it were so. A hedgehog we could deal with. Does Lavos have a goal? Good question. It will be answered in the game. So yeah, this is the point the musical, the song in the musical picks up right before that video is shown. So we are at that point. And Marl picks everyone up. So we don't get the nifty music here, because that music is more the, main theme song for the game, but, artistic license. And we could be a jerk and say, no way, we can't save the world, but come on, we're anime protagonist. Now we get the music. But first, we gotta get to our own time period and see if we can find any information whatsoever about Lavos. Next stop, Protodome. However, I did not fully explore this place. Sadly, the other rats were just hanging out near us. So, you know, the machine was just going to shoot us when it shot the rats. So, you know, we had to kill it. Oh, look, slimes. The slimes we ran into earlier. Now that we've done that, and we've done enough fighting, really, so if I don't have to fight those things again, I'm not gonna, though they are easy fights. Ah. Moved up just a hair too much. Sadly, the only thing we have for the people up here is a seed. We have discovered that this is almost 1,000 years. Well, it's 1,300 years in our future, basically. And about 300 years ago, the world ended. And besides, if we can actually go and stop Lavos from doing what he's going to do, this future won't exist. Hope. There's a word I haven't heard in some time. It does have a comforting ring to it, though. I don't know what kind of seed this is, but I'll do my best to grow it. So, headed off to Protodome, this man hands us something we need for Site 32, a jet bike key. Yeah, you need to move there. Yep. Sorry. Don't get too excited about the seed, guys. Have you seen the shape your land is in? I don't know how you're going to actually make anything grow there. But hopefully we can just wipe this entire timeline from existence. And, you know, fix things so they don't get this bad. So, with that, Site 32 awaits us. Also, mid-potion. And ways out of the place if you're not careful. And a big shiny jet bike. However, turning on the jet bike has alerted the presence of robots. But before we actually get in the fight, we have Johnny, who gets called bro by the robots. Brobots. We have a loud bro. Yeah, this is future Mondo, leader of a biker gang. Yeah, this would be future Mondo. He may not have a pompadour, but he's got a mohawk. However, he wants to race us, because apparently he hadn't been able to race anybody in a long time. Yeah, we use the control pad to steer. We get 3 turbo boosts. Yeah, and he wants to race us. Technically, we don't have to race him. We can just run past and go through the ruins. But there's no reason to not race him, except it's really freaking difficult to actually win. Because he can get right out in front of you and smack into you endlessly. And I am nowhere near good enough to bounce in front of him the whole time. But see, I hit my turbo, but it did not help. Let's try this again. We can try it as many times as we want. I'll give it a few tries before I... Mistimed it. There's some people who can reliably win this race. For me, it's more just about getting lucky. Like I said, it's not, it's not mandatory to race. Ah! I thought he was going to veer up at the last second so I could ram into him. Or let him run into me. So there's no need to panic over this race. Got him. Hello, Butterball. But there we go. And Johnny's all dejected there. But he likes he likes racing. He just hadn't had a chance to do it in a while, so, new person. But even though we made it through the ruins, even though that totally allows us to bypass this whole section. There's not a lot of reason to, really. I mean, these monsters are difficult, don't get me wrong. They do a ton of damage and hit for a ton. Yeah. Your kitty is holding you hostage. What are the demands? I mean, if your cat's holding you hostage, what demands does the cat have? Not that I can actually do anything about it, but, pets? Okay. Pets and cuddles. Yeah, I'm afraid I can't do anything about that. The right to lick your face, yeah, well. If you don't give him the right, he will just take it anyway, when you're asleep. You know he will. Also, hi, conveniently placed enemies. Now, the only real reason to come in here at all, besides the extra fights, which boost up your experience, is this. It's a race recorder. So if you really enjoy that little racing minigame, you can record your best scores. That's all it's there for. It's neat, but not really necessary for the game. But that's the main reason to actually come in here. Like I said, that and these fights. Go ahead and patch everyone up. And by the way, that Aura world, kinda why I say this is going to be a very boring playthrough. Because if I have to keep Chrono and Marl in my party at all times, and I do, I have access to Aura Whirl. Aura Whirl scales up and level with you as you level up. It doesn't stop being effective, to my memory. It's always good for a fairly decent group heal. For very, very cheap. Sadly, the fact that I don't have Luca means as soon as I get a new party member, I'm going to lose access to that little fire spin move. Okay. Cleared this place out, got the race recorder. And now we can continue on. After we save. And we have a derelict factory with laser gates. And we cannot run up a conveyor belt. If we land on a conveyor belt that's going the wrong way, I believe all we can really do is halt our progress at best. But, yeah. Anyway. We try to access the computer to trip the laser gate, and, well, that happens. It does not like it and drops an acid blob on us. Easy enough to beat, but still. And it's a way to get a little bit of experience. But since you don't really have a healing spot right here nearby, probably very inefficient since you have to fire magic at what it's throwing at you. But anyway, right now this is inaccessible to us. We'll have to change that soon. Oh look, 3 of these. I will say this. The good thing is... The good thing about having Marl in your party is she is, in general, fairly speedy. You may have noticed that her attacks have come up much, much faster than Luca. So she's somewhat fast for a healer. Which, obviously, that's a really good thing. This has been a shocking encounter. Give us a neutron, we're going to use it. Huh. Big old broken down rust bucket of a robot right here, huh? Oh. Nothing bad can happen here, huh? So, of course, Luca is amazingly interested in a humanoid robot, even one that's had most of its internal wiring just chewed on by rats. Luca has strong opinions about robots. Door won't budge, huh? Now she's giving it a little juice. And everybody knows the meme by now. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Yeah, they tried the door. This game came out before... No, it didn't come out before Rick Astley's song. But this is Robo's theme. Everybody knows this by now. Yes, we've been rickrolled by the game. Yes. And you will never be able to unhear it. So yeah, that is very, very freaking close to Never Gonna Give You Up. But the robot speaks. and is very formal with us. Yes, Madame Luca restored my circuits. That manner of address could potentially cause offense. I am incapable of offensive speech. And kind of taking a small little dig at Marl there. His serial number is R66Y. However, Marl's like, oh hell no, we're not calling you that. So the default name is what Chrono immediately comes up with, and that is Robo. We are going with this. Chrono is very bad at naming things. He is terrible at it. And she asks Robo for help here. Robo has apparently been out of it for a very long time. We get to fill in the robot on, you know, our problems. So the robot attempted to, but there's not enough power to open the door. And he can bypass the factory security in the north to activate the power generator here, so we can open the door and maybe look for the gate we need to get back home. So yes, someone's got to stay behind, which means Robo's coming with us. And because of the challenge, I would normally bring Luca for this, just because she and Robo were kind of have good, you know, a good cohesive team. But the challenge says I gotta have Marl, so Luca gets to stick around. So now I have a big freaking robot on my team. I'm not complaining. So now, Robo can interrupt the dropping of acid onto us to get the gate shut down long enough for us to actually get there. But acid's still gonna fall. And we're going to learn some dual techs as Robo levels up. So let's see. So when we get 4 more tech points, we will get, you know, laser spin. But he has a thing with Marl, where he can use Aura Beam and restore hit points to everybody, and Chrono can still just attack things. So that's good. So the glowing circles are essentially elevators. To the left takes us to the fact lab, and to the right takes us to the factory. Yeah, stopping the Velt activates security system, etc., etc., etc. So we gotta be careful. But first, let's beat these things up because, well, that's what we do. Luckily, this is what you want to grab that Thunder Blade out for, because these robots are weak against the Thunder Blade, and you'll get some extra damage out of it. Other robots are also weak to the Thunder Blade, as you would expect. And I don't recall which entrance gets me a faster run through here, but we're going to need to go down both of them. Let's go this way first. So, okay, I'm not completely mistaken here. I don't remember if Rocket Punch does anything. In a little bit. But Acid can do that. And now a hatch is opened. This hatch right here. Which takes us to this funky little area, which has more physical immune enemies in it. Not immune, but very resistant. See how long it takes us just to beat one of these up. So 4 attacks, basically. And sadly, we are blocked there. Which means we need to find... not the Titanium Vest, although the Titanium Vest is going to be really, really useful. And a new arm for Robo. Patch down there to see. Yep, that is still blocked off. Fair enough. Robo doing his thing. Shuts down the laser defenses, only to run into this. So let's see. Luckily, he has his laser now, which does almost nothing. However, that chemical reaction's kind of nasty, as is pure fire, but you know, that should go without saying. And just to warn you, there is a very good chance I might miss a few things in here. But that shuts off the laser that was blocking our path earlier. And unfortunately, the plasma gun is not one of our things. Door lock system operational, please enter passcode. Nope. Okay. We need a passcode to open that door. I know what it is, but you know. Let's actually go find the password the legitimate way. Because we're here. Heal up. We can go up or we can go down from here. Let's keep going down. This looks familiar. For good reason. Let's keep going down. Oh, look. Still no password. And we can only go up from here. And we are back here. We can completely avoid fighting those things to get over to this side. Only works that way, though. It doesn't work the other way. So here we are in the factory, which can be a tiny bit confusing at first. So up here. Ether. Okay. Let's see. That didn't work out so well for us. Sadly, we just kind of have to continue on this way. We can't really get off of this conveyor belt until we go through all of these fights. And just to let you know, you can do this multiple times. Although you're really not going to want to. Because they are not fun fights. They are going to take chunks of your health off each time you have to fight them. So the less you end up on this funky little path, the better. Here's fight number 3 against 5 things. Not that the fights are particularly super difficult or anything, but we get bumped down here. Which takes us into this room, where we kind of want to be. We're going to need to be up here at some point. Because it gets us here. Also in here, a couple more treasures, plus another console. So we have crane control codes. Pattern 1 is XA, pattern 2 is BB. This is kind of important. And I should remember it, but I want to write this down anyway, just because I have fun, you know, I have fun little brain farts like that. So now that we've learned the code, these two things pop out of their little holders and kind of rocket around the room. So let's, you know, cut out the middleman here and let them run into us, but it does absolutely nothing. Just don't be moving when they actually, you know, hit you, and you'll be fine. No, look, a big freaking barrel in our way. A big freaking barrel there, too. I guess the question is, do we actually have some way that can deal with it? Shelter, ether. Notice how this kind of goes for any enemy in the game. If it's walking around, no, they are not barrels of laugh, but if it's walking around, you can stand in its path, and a large chunk of them won't even notice you're there. So to activate the crane, wait for the tone and white flash and press any two of the buttons labeled with the letters A, B, X, and Y, one after the next. This means under control pad. Of course it does. So we have pattern 0 and pattern 1, or pattern 1, pattern 2, however you want to look at it. So pattern 1 is XA, which gets it to move that barrel out of our way. And the second pattern was BB, which means it's going to move over here and get this barrel out of our way. And I am probably not going to get every treasure in this place, simply by the virtue of the fact that I'm going to forget a few of them. It's not intentional. I'm just old. But now we've moved that out of the way. Hi. So now that the barrels are out of our way, we can actually get into other places around here. Like this. Which, if we hadn't picked up the Thunder Blade already, we find a new one. And the Zaby Ultra High Security Door Lock System is XABY. Literally spelling out Zaby. Yes, I had to show that to you. I don't know if that door lock would work if you hadn't seen that code or not, but either way I had to show that off. And now we're all the way back here. But that was the main purpose for coming down here, was getting that. However, now you notice how the robots there are coming out. If we are careful, we can basically get in there. We can basically run along these passageways and get all the way to the back, which would be good because there are treasures here. So once the second one clears, have just enough time to duck down in here. So we want to be careful. We want to wait until we've got the group of two like right next to each other before we run across, because time is limited, and if we hit one of those, well, time is limited in the fact that we don't have a lot of time just to jump up and over. And I believe that last one was the one we wanted to head out on. So, once they pass by again, yep, we go. Have just enough time to make it to that one. So let's not ruin it here. Now you notice this is pretty much where you get sent back to. So you can do that whole thing and avoid having to deal with that chain of fights on the conveyor belt. And of course you make the heater sleep. Thanks for that. Obtained basically a Robin Hood bow for Marl, which is a nice upgrade of the silver bow. But most importantly, now that we have the door code, we can get ambushed by these things again. Still not a very difficult fight. Yeah. Let's just keep using the elevator to get down there. No point in not doing it. Pretty sure we got everything grabbable out of here. So with this, Zaby entered, opens that, and this room's looking like a boss fight. So Robo runs around frantically. Or it's not so much a boss fight as it is we need to leave. And Robo holds the door open for us. And nearly gets crushed, gets jettisoned across the room. Elevator's disabled. Good. I'm glad. Now we get to see more of this place. Oh good, it's time for one of the hardest fights in the game up to this point. So we run across Robo's friends. Who immediately punch him and knock him out. Or try to. You are defective. You are not one of us. Affirmative. So yeah, they think Robo's malfunctioning and they want to basically rewrite his program code because they have an assigned task that must destroy all intruders. But because he apparently disgraces robots, he must be destroyed. And after Luca worked so hard. So yeah, they're just gonna sit there and wail on him. And yeah, they just basically dumped him down the trash chute after beating the snot out of Robo. And now they're going to break us. Or attempt to. And the reason I bring Luca on this is because, yeah, you're stuck with just whoever's with you and Robo. No Robo, so it's just Chrono and whoever was with Robo and Chrono. And Marl doesn't have any group attacks and can't really boost an attack with Chrono. So this gets to be a little more difficult. Not to mention that these guys do a good amount of damage. Let's see. Chrono will survive a little better. But Marl's main purpose is to dish out the healing when you're here. And just like Chrono cyclone them 3 at a time. And reduce the drastic damage you're taking by a good amount. So yeah, this actually can be one of the hardest early game fights here. I say early game even though we're, like 5 hours in. Okay, 6 hours in. And the last one decides to nuke. Right before we kill him. But Chrono and Marl got to level up. After the fight, Marl immediately goes to the chute. And drags Robo out of it because he got stuck. So luckily, that's the last thing we have to do in there. Because, yeah, now we're dragging around a broken robot again. And Robo's hurt so bad he's just sparking everywhere. Yeah, his friends are jerks. So Marl is getting some much-needed rest. Chrono's just kind of standing there like the silent protagonist he is. And Luca is working pretty feverishly to fix Robo. And she asks him what he wants to do. But because he's a robot, I don't think people are going to ask robots what they want to do very often. It's like they've never actually understood what the robot uprising is going to entail. Besides Rickrolls. And Robo wants to travel with us. New party member get. So we just found the gate. Time to get out of here and time to go back home. Yes, we has a friend. That didn't look good. I'm going to say it now. That did not look like a good gate happening there.